You'll be able to tell your kids one day where you were when the United States dollar changed forever. Right after the Labor Day weekend of 2024, we're witnessing the last gasp of the United States dollar as we know it. Just after the Jackson Hole meeting and right before the Fed slashes interest rates, this marks a historic shift that's happening right in front of our eyes, and not in a good way. The US economy is slowing faster than expected, and the market is just now catching up to what's already become a reality. As millions of Americans struggle to make ends meet, the Fed is scrambling, and the elites controlling the system are working overtime to ensure their power stays intact. We're about to see the biggest shift in the US dollar's dominance in 80 years, and the timeline is accelerating. In just a few days, on September 18th, the Fed will lower interest rates, and the fallout is going to hit harder than most people are prepared for. Bank collapses, job losses by the millions, and skyrocketing inflation. These are not hypothetical scenarios. They're already happening, and no amount of government rhetoric is going to change the truth. Laugh all you want, but Vice President Kamala Harris won't be laughing for long, especially as these economic realities play out on the national stage. Let's talk about what's really going on. Millions of full-time jobs have disappeared. In their place, non-US citizens have filled the void. Many of them illegal immigrants, and the numbers don't lie. This isn't fear-mongering, this is data. Meanwhile, the stock market is in trouble, with all three major indexes posting losses last Friday, and the S&P recording its worst week of the year. And it gets worse. Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, admitted at the Jackson Hole meeting that the job market is in trouble and consumer spending is down. That's right, the time for pivoting their policy is here, which means more interest rate cuts are coming. As soon as Powell uttered those words, gold prices skyrocketed to an all-time high, while the US dollar plummeted to its lowest point in 2024. Just one sentence caused the dollar to fall, and the rates haven't even been cut yet. As Gerald Celente, a well-known trends forecaster, has said, we're already in a recession, and the upcoming crash is going to be worse than anyone wants to admit. The powers that be want to keep control no matter the cost. That's why we're seeing these rate cuts. It's their last-ditch effort to prop up a faltering economy. But as interest rates fall, so too does the value of the dollar. And as the dollar drops, gold continues to rise. The sad truth is that Americans are tapped out. There's no more savings, no more extra spending money. Many can't even afford to go shopping for back-to-school clothes for their kids. Even dollar stores are feeling the pinch. When Dollar General offers a 91% clearance sale and still can't lure in shoppers, you know things are bad. It's not just a retail problem, it's a nationwide economic problem, and we're all feeling the squeeze. In the next few weeks, the Fed is expected to cut rates 4 more times, but it's too little, too late. The dollar is only holding up because of these high interest rates, and when those rates are cut, it will flood the market with US dollars, driving inflation even higher. This is a ticking time bomb for the US economy, and no amount of political grandstanding is going to save us from the fallout. $6.2 trillion. Let that sink in. That's how much is sitting in US money market accounts, an all-time record. But once the interest rates are slashed, that money will start leaving, hitting the American market like a tidal wave. Inflation will spike, and the American standard of living will decline. The Fed can't fix this overnight, and neither can the government. Kamala Harris and her team can talk about their plans to print more dollars and tax unrealized gains, but these moves are going to make the problem worse, not better. Imagine taxing money you don't even have yet. It's the kind of reckless economic policy that leads to a deeper hole, and Americans are already feeling the impact of these ill-conceived ideas. If you want proof of where we're headed, just look at our trade deficit, which is at a record high. The United States is buying far more from other countries than we're selling. As the dollar weakens, this deficit will only grow, making it harder for Americans to afford basic goods and services. We're spending more than we're earning, and that's not sustainable. All the signs are here. The debate may provide some entertainment, but the reality is much more serious. The US dollar is in trouble, and we're just 8 days away from the first Fed rate cut on September 18th. Don't let the mainstream media distract you with political theatre. This is the economic storm you need to be preparing for. And speaking of preparation, if you haven't already, now is the time to hit that subscribe button here on the Trivia Treasures. We're not just breaking down the headlines, we're helping you navigate these uncertain times with insights and information you won't find anywhere else. Be sure to turn on notifications so you don't miss the latest updates. Now, let's take a closer look at what's coming next. With each interest rate cut, the dollar will continue to decline. We've seen this before, and we're seeing it again now. The US dollar index peaked back in 2022, and it's been on a downward slide ever since. Meanwhile, gold is at an all-time high. This trend is only accelerating, and if history is any indicator, we're in for some turbulent times ahead. But here's where you come in. It's not too late to protect yourself and your family from what's on the horizon. Take action now to prepare for the economic storm ahead. And while you're here, don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. The more informed we are, the better we can face these challenges together. As we wrap things up, let's recap what we've covered. The US dollar is on the verge of a major collapse, and gold is rising in response. The Federal Reserve is expected to announce rate cuts on September 18th, which will only accelerate these trends. It's time to get serious about protecting yourself financially. Subscribe to the Trivia Treasures, stay informed, and let's get through this together. Hit that like button and spread the word. We'll see you next time with more news and insights.